Kyle Richards slams Garcelle's Morgan Wade questions. Kyle Richards has made it clear that she does not want to discuss her friendship with Morgan Wade on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but she has plenty to say about castmate Garcelle Beauvais bringing it up on camera. During a Street Lucia group dinner on Season 14, Episode 16, Garcelle broached the sensitive subject of Kyle and Morgan's situation, noting that it was confusing why the cast has to supposedly tiptoe around a friendship that is very much in the public eye. Though Kyle rolled her eyes at the statement, Garcelle insisted that she simply wanted to make sure that she was being supported. Kyle didn't seem to buy Garcelle's reasoning in Street Lucia, and she still wasn't buying it on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show either. The reason? When Garcelle and I have spoken in private, she's been totally understanding of my position that I'm in discussing this, Kyle explained on the after show. In front of the other ladies, though, she wants to bring it up and bring it to the table. It just doesn't match our private conversations. So in these moments, I'm like, well, here we go again. Why Garcelle brought up Morgan Wade on RHOBH. Garcelle, on the other hand, had a very different take on the matter. Even if she said to me, I don't want to talk about it right now, and then later pulled me aside and said, this is why I don't want to talk about it in the group, I would have understood, Garcelle insisted. But just to pretend that it's not happening, we're not dumb. The people out there are not dumb. We see it. Where do Kyle Richards and Garcelle Beauvais stand today? Things are still rocky between Kyle and Garcelle. Echoing statements she's made on RHOBH, Garcelle noted on the March 18 after show that she would like to have a deeper relationship with Kyle, but wondered how they could ever grow closer if certain topics, Morgan, are off limits. Kyle, for her part, questioned the foundation of their friendship in general, claiming that she had always been respectful of subjects that Garcelle didn't want to discuss on camera. However, she didn't feel that Garcelle was showing her the same courtesy by bringing up Morgan in Street Lucia. Obviously, if I've shared things with Garcelle, and these conversations were genuine to me, and I leave these conversations feeling like, this person's my friend, and then all of a sudden, her actions are completely different the next time I see her, of course I'm going to question the validity of her words to me that we've had in private, Kyle added. So for now, Kyle is proceeding with caution. There's a difference between arguing with a friend and someone that you feel like you have to have your guard up and not trust, she continued. I'm like, wow, do I need to have my guard up with Garcelle? I shouldn't have my feelings hurt after this many years, but I do. What Kyle Richards said about Morgan Wade on RHOBH. Once Garcelle put her on the spot on RHOB Season 14, Episode 16, Kyle responded that there is no situation with Morgan to discuss. One day, maybe I'll have a great story to share with you guys, she told her fellow RHOB cast members, adding, maybe I will, maybe I don't. As far as the photos of Kyle backstage at Morgan's concert, taken just days after estranged husband Mauricio Umansky was photographed kissing a new woman at an airport in Greece, she explained that it was a paid appearance she'd already had booked for at least 6 months. When Garcelle pointed out that brings the attention, Kyle countered, what am I gonna do? Going to the gas station brings attention online too, but there's nothing I can do about that part of my life. Earlier in RHOBH Season 14, Kyle also addressed the public attention and interest in her friendship with Morgan. All the tabloids, all the stories out there, I know there's a lot of curiosity about the person they always talk about. I'm not using her name intentionally. I don't want to speak on anyone's behalf except my own. But right now, there's just nothing to say, she shared. I mean, I wish I had some story to say, but that's just not what it is. Kyle Richards slams Garcelle's Morgan Wade questions, a tense tale of friendship and privacy. The glistening chandeliers of the luxurious Street Lucia dinner table flickered as Kyle Richards looked across the table at her co-star Garcelle Beauvais, her lips pursed in a mixture of disbelief and frustration. It was a moment that had been building for weeks, a series of private conversations that now bubbled to the surface in front of a camera crew and a table full of nosy housewives. The topic of the hour: Kyle's friendship with country singer Morgan Wade. Season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills had been filled with its usual dose of drama, but nothing had quite hit as hard as Garcelle's insistence on probing into Kyle's personal life, particularly her relationship with Wade. This was no simple gossip session. It was a direct attack on a sensitive boundary that Kyle had set. She had made it clear that she didn't want to discuss her relationship with Morgan Wade, and yet there Garcelle was, unrelenting, pressing the issue like a reporter on the scent of a scandal. The dinner in Street Lucia, a moment of tension. It was during a lavish dinner in Street Lucia. Beautiful tropical backdrop, colorful cocktails, and the air thick with tension, that Garcelle first broached the subject. "So, can we talk about this Morgan Wade situation?" she asked, her voice calm but pointed. "It's confusing why we have to tiptoe around it when it's so out in the open. Why can't we just talk about it?" Kyle's eyes briefly rolled, a reflexive gesture of exasperation, before she responded, attempting to stay composed. "There's no situation," she said flatly, her voice clipped. But Garcelle, ever the truth seeker, wasn't satisfied with that response. "I just want to make sure that I'm being supportive," Garcelle pressed. Her eyes flicked toward the other women at the table, clearly hoping for validation. "I just don't understand why we're pretending this isn't happening." The other women sat in tense silence, watching as Kyle, clearly uncomfortable, tried to deflect the conversation. The after show, Kyle's frustration boils over. In a post-episode interview on the RHOBH after show, Kyle finally had a chance to speak her mind. Her tone was calm, but full of underlying frustration as she explained her side of things. "When Garcelle and I have spoken in private, she's been totally understanding of my position," Kyle said, her voice tinged with hurt. "But in front of the group, she wants to bring it up like this, and that's what doesn't match. It just doesn't add up." It was clear from her words that Kyle felt betrayed, as though Garcelle, someone she had considered a friend, was now using her personal life as fodder for public drama. I'm sitting there thinking, well, here we go again. For Kyle, it wasn't just about the topic at hand. It was about trust. She had confided in Garcelle in private, sharing her thoughts and feelings in confidence. Yet now, Garcelle seemed to be airing those private conversations on national television, making Kyle feel vulnerable and exposed. And the more Kyle spoke, the more it became apparent that this wasn't just a disagreement over one issue. This was a broader crisis of friendship. Garcelle's perspective. The need for transparency. Garcelle, for her part, didn't seem to understand why Kyle was so upset. In the same after-show interview, Garcelle explained that she simply wanted to make sure she was being supportive and transparent, even if that meant addressing uncomfortable topics. "Even if Kyle had said to me, 'I don't want to talk about it right now,' I would have respected that," Garcelle said earnestly. "But to just act like it's not happening, it feels dishonest. We're not dumb, Kyle. The fans aren't dumb. We see the pictures, we hear the rumors. It's out there." For Garcelle, the refusal to talk about her relationship with Morgan Wade didn't make sense. She wanted clarity, a deeper understanding of her friend's life. She didn't want to leave things in the dark, especially when the public interest in Kyle's friendship with Morgan was so palpable. "I just want to know where I stand with her," Garcelle continued. "I would like to have a deeper relationship with Kyle, but how can we grow closer if we're constantly dancing around certain topics?" For Garcelle, it wasn't just about Morgan Wade. It was about feeling like her friend wasn't being fully open with her. If Kyle was going to keep secrets, even from her, how could Garcelle trust that their friendship was genuine? Could it be real if they couldn't talk about certain things? Kyle's inner struggle, trust and boundaries. As the season continued, the tension between Kyle and Garcelle only grew. Kyle's feelings of betrayal deepened as Garcelle's questions about Morgan became more frequent and pointed. Kyle began to wonder whether she could trust Garcelle in the same way she had before.